Hello everyone, and welcome back. In this episode we are going to be making Hokkaido dinner rolls, and we are going to start off by making the Tangzhong, which is going to be the star of today's show. I have made some here, but I will show you how to make it. So let's get started. So I should mention that this recipe is used to make Japanese bread, but I'm going to use it to make dinner rolls. So we are going to need 2 tablespoons of bread flour or 20 grams. Next, we need 2 tablespoons of water or 27 grams. Next, we need milk, 4 tablespoons of milk, and that is 60 grams. So mix the ingredients together, and then we're going to turn on the heat to about medium. And this comes together really fast, so do not walk away from it. So medium heat, and using a whisk, so that's the consistency we're going for. We're going to put it in a bowl, and we're going to let it sit and cool off. And while we let the Tangzhong cool off, we are going to get the yeast and milk ready. So we need half a cup or 120 grams of whole milk and 1 tablespoon of active dry yeast. Pour it in and stir in the yeast. And we're going to put that aside and let the yeast activate. I should mention that the milk should be about 90 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit. That is 32 to 35 degrees centigrade. Next, we're going to take 2.5 cups or 320 grams of bread flour and 3/4 teaspoon of fine sea salt and 1/4 cup or 53 grams of granulated fine sugar. We're also going to need 3 tablespoons or 42 grams of butter at room temperature. So I'm just going to put this in the microwave for about 5 seconds. So for the next step, we're going to incorporate everything, and I'm going to be doing hand mixing. If you want to use your mixer, you can set it on low medium as you put in your ingredients. And I'm going to start with the Tangzhong. We're going to put our milk, and we're going to mix this in until it's all incorporated before we start adding in the butter. And I almost forgot, we need to put in 1 egg, and your egg should be at room temperature. I'm going to incorporate the egg in before I start hand mixing. Oops, making a mess. All right, We are ready to start incorporating the butter. Make sure the butter mixes in before you put in the next tablespoon. Now this would be faster if you were using a KitchenAid or some other mixer. But I have not invested in one of those yet, and I really do enjoy using my hands. Now you should notice your dough getting softer. And as you can see, my hands are getting a little cleaner because all that dough is getting incorporated. It's quite a bit of exercise. It takes quite a bit of patience. So when I make these rolls, I do add about maybe a quarter cup, half a cup of wheat flour, and that is usually a part of that 320 grams. And I find that I prefer my rolls with just that little bit of wheat flour. Now if you prefer, you can do it all white. Alright, and now we have all our butter in there, and as you can tell, this dough is a little bit sticky, so we are now going to knead the dough until it becomes nice and smooth. And this should take you about 5 or 7 minutes. And once all the butter is nicely incorporated, this dough is going to be nice and smooth. And the next thing I want to try after this is, I want to try making this, but using the sourdough instead of yeast. So I'm going to do that experiment a few times before I come and show it to you on screen, if that experiment works out. Now, one of the ways you will know that you're getting closer is you will notice that the dough will not stick on your hands. And as you can see, we are just about there. And you will notice I did not add extra flour. And I do not have any sticking at all. And I think we are there. Our dough is nice and smooth. And all I'm doing is rolling it onto itself to make it as tight as possible. You see it remains really smooth. And now we're going to let it sit. And we are going to cover it, and we are going to wait until it has doubled in size, and that should take about an hour. And this is dependent on how warm it is in your house. So once it has doubled in size, we'll be back. So in order to make these rolls, I need a 9x9 pan, and I cannot find my pan. So what I have done is I have taken a piece of wood and I have cut it to size, about 9 inches. And once I am ready for the rolls, I'm just going to stick that in there and put in my 9 rolls. And the reason I'm doing this is I want my rolls to be touching as they rise. If you don't care about your rolls touching and all you have is a 9x13, go ahead and use the 9x13. So I cut it to size and covered it with foil. So it has been about an hour and 15 minutes, and as you can see, my dough has doubled in size. The next step is going to be dividing the dough into 9 equal pieces. And each piece is going to be approximately 75 grams. And you don't have to be exact. Let's go ahead and get this cut into our 9 pieces. Right, that's good enough. That's 75. That's good enough. That's good enough. Pinching out of every other one to get them just about even. I'm going to call that good. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pieces. And we're going to take each one and just roll it onto itself until you have a tight ball. And we'll do that for each one. We're avoiding manipulating it too much to make sure that your rolls don't turn out to be too hard. Well, they shouldn't be hard because we of the Tangzhong. But this ensures that they'll be nice and soft. And I'll be back when we're done rolling them. All right, now we're on to the last one. I don't know if you can see that. You can still see the bubbles. Those are ready. And we are going to let them rest. And I'm going to cover them with a wet towel and let them rise for an hour and a half. We'll be right back. Here we go. Should be back in about an hour and a half. Yep, I made a rookie mistake. Do not forget to put a little bit of oil in your pan so that they do not stick. You really don't need much. All right, that should do it. What we need to do now is get an egg, 2 teaspoons of milk, and we're going to whip this. It's ready for the rolls. And now we need to turn on the oven at 350 degrees. And while we wait for the oven to warm up, we are going to get the eggs on our rolls. Be generous. I could have covered this and put them in the refrigerator and let them rise slowly until morning if you want to eat them nice and warm. And we'll be right back when the oven is ready. Alright, we're ready to put this in the oven. And I've heated the oven to 350 degrees centigrade, and that's 175 degrees Fahrenheit. And we're going to bake them for about 30 minutes or until they're golden brown on top. Yeah, Roger pointed out that I said my units backwards. It is 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 175 degrees centigrade for about 30 minutes until golden brown. Thanks, Roger. So we have about 5 minutes until the rolls are done. And at this point, you want to melt some butter. And for those of you that like garlic on your rolls, you are now ready to put about a clove of garlic onto the stove with your butter and cook it on low heat until your garlic starts browning. You do not want to burn your garlic. We'll be right back. The rolls are done, and it's time to get the butter on them. So if you don't want lots of butter on the top of your rolls, put just enough to soften the top. And for those of you that are using butter and garlic, be as generous as you want to be. And then we're going to let this cool for about 5 minutes. And we're going to cut into one. And if you have salt flakes and you like putting salt flakes on, now's the time to sprinkle on a few. So I'm just putting enough to get the roll soft. And I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Blackberry jam. That you're soaking them in blackberry? I see that. That's how it turned out. It's really nice and soft. And it's tasty. That's it for today. Bye.